Wedbush Securities' Dan Ives is here at Post 9. We know that Tuesday is going to be a big day. You say the clock has struck midnight. And the line that stuck out to me, trading in the Model 2 for Robo would be a tragic gamble, in your opinion.
I think it would be a gamble that could maybe even define the future of Tesla next 3 to 5 years. And I think right now the big nervousness is Model 2. That's a key part of the growth. That's 50 to 60% of the incremental growth next 2 to 3 years. Robotaxis, autonomous, that's not for another 5 to 6 years. And I'd say, look, we've seen over the last decade, we've been through a lot of white knuckle moments from Musk and Tesla. This is up there. And this has really been a Cinderella story that in the near term has really turned into a nightmare on Elm Street. It all starts next Tuesday. Needs to control the narrative, because if there's no adult in the room, there could be darker days ahead.
So if he really does say, we're going to play this long game, and it's going to come at the expense of the 2, you would re-rate?
That would be, if that happened, it would be a disaster of epic proportions. Because in the near term, and you've seen others throw in the white towel because of the fears of that and because of some of the stuff that's reported, that would really put a massive black hole or gap in the growth for the next few years. And if you look at the last sort of 2015, 2018, there were levers that Musk could pull and ultimately did pull. And that's why it's, you've seen the history. But this I'd say for the first time in 5, 6 years, long-term Tesla bulls are really calling, feels like they're about to hit the elevator if they don't hear what they want on Tuesday.
Why are analysts like you and investors so downbeat on the prospect of the robotaxi future?
Bullish on robotaxis, bullish on autonomy. The problem is this would be like Cook on May 2nd coming out and being like, okay, iPhone 15. Now look, we're not going to have anything till iPhone 21, but trust us. Thanks for being on the conference call. So that's the problem, is that we're bullish.
It's always worked for him before.
Exactly, and I think now the difference is you need a refresh. Competition comes from all angles. Game of Thrones that we're seeing in China. And the credibility for Musk has definitely been questioned, because the last 2 conference calls we've talked about on the show, those have been train wreck horror shows.
Since Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk, announced that the company would unveil its robotaxi vehicle on the 8th of August, many analysts frowned at the idea, including Wedbush's Dan Ives. That doesn't mean that Ives is going bearish on Tesla. He's still bullish, but he believes that the company should get an affordable car out there first, before it even starts thinking about robotaxis. While I agree with Ives that Tesla needs to start offering an affordable vehicle, I find it hard to agree with his opinion that robotaxis will need another 5 or 6 years to launch, and I'm going to tell you exactly why now. We'll also talk about some recent Tesla updates that highlight the company's next phase of growth, and also tell you our expectations for the company's earnings on Tuesday. But before we do that, if you want to keep up with Tesla's latest updates and keep up with the stock market's latest news, you can follow our Twitter account. We post multiple times daily about the biggest changes and catalysts in the market, so click the follow button if you don't want to miss the newest market updates. Now, back to today's video.
So it all comes down to clock struck midnight. Tuesday night, adult in the room needs to step up, navigate the story, and that's why we call it a fork in the road moment. We are still bullish on the long-term Tesla story, but this is a Category 5 storm. And the pilot on the plane can't be Ted Stryker.
But what do you? There's a lot of just analogies and stuff there. But what do you want to hear? Because the China competition is not in Tesla's control.
Yeah, you need to hear 4 things. 1, what's the growth strategy in China? How are we going to reverse the trend that we're seeing in mainland China, which has been, we'll call it 60-70% of the growth, incremental growth story for Tesla.
How do they do that? Those cars are cheaper. They're nice. I saw them on the streets. I tested them. How are they going to reverse that kind of growth trend?
Hold prices, hold margins. We're going to basically bet on our brand, no different than what Apple has done, and I think many others, including Microsoft, depending on the products. But give the strategy there. What are the targets? And Sarah, they have to give guidance. What's the targets on growth realistically? What do margins look like? Where does it trough out at? AI, Musk, the 25% threat, recommit, keeping AI within Tesla, showing FSD, showing autonomy. That's been the problem here, is that if you had an adult in the room to navigate, the stock, I think 30% of the sell-off here has really been Musk-driven, but it all comes down to, like, you could talk the talk, you gotta walk the walk.
Dan Ives has valid concerns that Elon Musk and Tesla's management need to address on the earnings call on Tuesday, including how the company expects to grow from now on and how it plans to turn things around in the Chinese market. Now, we don't have a crystal ball and we don't know what management is going to be talking about in the call, but we do know it's going to be a very important call. So much so that Elon Musk had to delay his visit to India, where the newest Tesla factory will be built, to attend the call and answer investors' questions. So, let's talk about some recent Tesla updates, and through them, we might be able to guess what management will talk about in the earnings call and whether investors should load up on more Tesla shares or jump ship. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Investocracy.
In your latest research paper, Big Ideas for 2024, you listed your strongest convictions. Among them, you mentioned robotics, AI, Bitcoin, and also electric vehicles. You anticipate that EV sales will grow from roughly 10 million units in 2023 globally to 74 million in 2030, which is a lot, frankly, and which today I think is a very contrarian view given the increasingly unpopularity of electric vehicles worldwide. Why are you so positive about that?
Well, we believe that one of the issues, range and range anxiety, is going to change as range increases. But more important, we see electric vehicle prices dropping into the $20,000 to $25,000 range within the next 5 to 10 years. And if you look at price points historically, you adjust for inflation and you look at price points at which auto sales really take off model by model, it is around that $25,000 to $30,000 range. And so we believe that electric vehicles will scale to roughly 70% of the market by that time, and price will be the biggest reason.
Recently, it was announced that Tesla has dropped the price of FSD to $8,000 from $12,000 in the United States, getting rid of enhanced autopilot at the same time, which was $6,000, and this should be extremely bullish news for Tesla investors. You might be wondering, why would Tesla cutting the price of what really differentiates it as an EV company be bullish? Well, we've all seen how much Tesla owners loved FSD when they tried it in the free trial period, and Tesla even reduced the monthly FSD subscription to $99 from $199. Discounts to FSD will allow more Tesla owners to come on board, as many of them thought it was too expensive. In fact, only around 400,000 Tesla owners in the US are FSD subscribers, when the car company has around 2.5 million Tesla vehicles on US roads. The discounts could also help Tesla sell more cars, as non-Tesla owners might want to see what the hype is about. This brings us to our next point, which is Tesla's big bet on autonomy. Elon Musk told us when the company reported 2023's Q4 earnings that 2024 won't be a great year for Tesla thanks to a slowdown in the EV industry, so we already know that Tuesday's numbers won't be great. What we do know, however, is that Tesla plans to go all in on autonomy, and this FSD discount proves that. It's very likely that Elon and management will talk a lot about FSD in the earnings call and how they expect to increase FSD adoption rate. They'll also talk about the newest updates to the software, including FSD version 12.4, which Elon called a big release and said that it should arguably be called version 13.
So what are you watching in terms of the challenges that Tesla is facing in China? Because to your point, yes, we're seeing it with regard to Tesla. They can't drive Teslas with I believe it's government officials can't drive a Tesla, right? What's the issue there?
So year over year, their sales are down 19%, and what we're seeing seeing is that a local competitor is definitely coming up higher, and Tesla's having to deal with a lot of things shifted, even with Starbucks. A lot of things shifted post-pandemic because they had that very stringent COVID-0 policy, and that made a lot of consumers shift away from American companies that maybe were there, and they're a lot more cautious. And also, look at China. They've lost $7 trillion of market cap this year. They're definitely going through a real estate collapse, and so that is making their markets come down, and it's overall making the consumer a lot tighter on their money. They're having a problem with their economy, not so different than we are, although we haven't had that kind of market problem disruption. So overall, I think demand is weak in China as a whole, and certainly it might disproportionately affect American multinationals because of the government.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, because there had been all this talk about, I guess, the rebound in China in a post-COVID world, and it hasn't happened to the degree that was expected. And when you think about Tesla, when you go back to Tesla, I do wonder if some of this, there's been talk about kind of where EVs are and how much data that they have, and if that is some of the concern, the backdrop in the, you can't have a Tesla.
Well, yeah, because just like there's the concern in the U.S. that TikTok is tracking individual U.S. citizens' information, a Tesla company is going to know exactly what the Chinese public is doing, where they're going, how they're going, and that's a lot of data for American to have on U.S. citizens, or Chinese citizens.
Okay.
During the earnings call, Tesla's management team might also go over the concerns for the Chinese market and discuss things like when FSD will come to China. Elon said on X that he expects FSD to launch in China very soon, and this was followed by Tesla announcing a new $2,000 price cut to its Model 3 EV in China, which could help increase demand in the country. Still, it might take a while before Tesla can get FSD to China, as FSD works by gathering data, and the Chinese government might not want a company based in the United States to keep collecting Chinese data. If you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
Wanted to take a look at Tesla. It's at 149 right now. Year to date, well, it is down about almost 40%. What is going on? Another 52-week low. So news that more than 3,000 Cybertrucks are being recalled. Jay Woods is with us, Chief Global Strategist, Freedom Capital Markets. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, Jay. Let's start with Tesla. It was certainly a family favorite. It's in the index, what's going on here?
It's one of the most talked about stocks all the time. You have Elon Musk leading the way, and they've been coming out with headlines that have got a lot of people puzzled. For years, we traded this on anticipation of the next big thing that they're going to roll out, and now we're seeing some bumps in the road. You mentioned the Cybertruck today was, delayed or having some recalls. Well, before the recalls, there were delays in rolling it out. The charge, which was supposed to be 500 miles per charge, only came out at 340, and then the price point was much higher than people anticipated. So there was a delay in rolling it out. Then when they did, it didn't meet what people had hoped. So there are a lot of questions. And then last week, Reuters had reported through Twitter that the Model 2 may not be happening. That rollout may be delayed or not happen at all. Elon Musk just replied, that's a lie. We haven't heard anything back. So we need to get a little more clearance and guidance from Elon Musk. And when are we going to get that? Hopefully on Tuesday's earnings call, as everything points to earnings.
Let's break this down. There were no injuries or accidents because of this recall of the Cybertruck. We are just being very cautious. Any thoughts on the details of this recall and what it could mean for Tesla?
Well, it's just, like I said, another bump in the road. We don't know what it means, but, that rollout continues to be slow, and then those wanting to pay that higher price point, they're going to see a story like this. They're like, you know what, maybe I'll wait. They want to see this thing road tested a little more often. And then you talk about the other rollouts that have been delayed. The Tesla Semi, that was supposed to be a big revolutionary idea. They've only rolled out one. We haven't seen it. And now he talks about autonomous driving. Elon just tweeted on August 8th of this year, they're going to announce their robotaxi. Well, usually that causes the stock to rally, and it didn't this time.
Yeah, and we have a lot of names coming up. But just to have a clarification, folks, on the Cybertrucks, the pedal problem. That is the issue with the Cybertruck. Cybertruck accelerator pedal pad might dislodge and get trapped, causing the vehicle to accelerate unintentionally and increasing the risk of crash. And that's why he gave that response. In other words, they are not aware of any crashes, but that this is proactive on their part. But 3,878 vehicles being recalled. So that's tough. That's another headline that Tesla doesn't need. So next week, people are saying they want to hear more from him pertaining to the future and the plans. And, I had a great conversation with Hatem Diab from Gerber Kawasaki. And I said, I guess he's got to put on his big boy pants and really spill it out. And he said, no chance. You're being crazy almost. He didn't say crazy, but don't even think about it. Mm-hmm. Dan Ives was so disappointed in the last call because, again, he didn't give any sort of clarification on the future.
Now let's discuss another problem Dan Ives had with Tesla, the trade-off between the affordable EV and robotaxis. Ives said that robotaxis needs another 5 or 6 years, but given the fact that the reveal is happening in August, we might see robotaxis launching way sooner than we think. Elon has made it clear that this is what Tesla is prioritizing right now, and since the company has already made so much progress with FSD, it's not hard to believe that it'll successfully solve autonomy soon, maybe by the end of this year or next year. Dan Ives also mentioned the tough competition in the market, and while he's correct in saying that many other companies are coming out with great EVs, competition in autonomy is basically non-existent. The thing is, Wall Street analysts want fast results, but Tesla is currently in a new growth phase, so it's only natural that it runs into headwinds at first. If you're a Tesla investor who really believes in the company and the future of fully autonomous vehicles, then you need to hold the stock and weather the upcoming storm. Of course, analysts' opinions aren't always right, and while some of them don't really believe in robotaxis, others think robotaxis are essential for Tesla's long-term value. For example, Matt Smith, who's an equity analyst at Rebellion Now, recently said on X that he thinks that 80% or more of people, including Tesla investors, don't actually understand the economics and strategy of robotaxis. He received a reply from James Dormer, a leading machine learning expert and Tesla investor, who thinks that it's actually 99% of people in the Tesla community that don't understand how robotaxis would benefit Tesla. Dormer has previously tweeted that Tesla's robotaxis would be better than affordable vehicles for the company, saying that one robotaxi will drive 5 times the miles of a personal Tesla car, which would, in turn, 5 times the value to users and the profit to investors. The CEO of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood, is also extremely bullish on Tesla thanks to robotaxis. She believes a Tesla robotaxi network is a $10 trillion opportunity, which is why she put a price target of $2,000 on the company's stock, believing that it'll get there by 2029. This price would give Tesla a market cap of $5 trillion, and Elon Musk believes that it's entirely possible for the company to reach that goal. He even liked tweets with Cathie's bullish price target and even said that he sees Tesla reaching that market cap soon. As for concerns over affordable cars, Tesla's price cuts are making its luxurious vehicles more affordable than ever. In fact, Elon posted on X that the Model Y now starts at $29,490 after discounts, US federal tax credit, and estimated gas savings, which isn't too far from the $25,000 we thought the affordable EV would cost. Even though Tesla stock is down now, we're still getting great news when it comes to the company's new technologies and expansions, and Dan Ives even said that entering the Indian market is a huge opportunity for Tesla, forecasting that 15% of the company's sales in the future will come from the country. He also said that Elon needs to stay as the company's CEO for the next 5 to 7 years, which really tells you how significant the upcoming earnings call is, and it could be Elon's most important one to date, because he needs to show how he'll turn things around. If you're a firm believer in Tesla and Elon, you could load up on more shares if the earnings are bad and the stock starts falling. Remember, you're not just investing in Tesla's EVs when you buy Tesla shares, but also Tesla's AI, energy business, car insurance business, and robotics business. But what do you think about what Tesla is doing to get back on track? What are your expectations for the earnings on Tuesday? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to tell us what your valuation for Tesla is. If you would like to know what Tesla has been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.